What's going on, guys? Cosmic Wonder with Avengers Secret Wars massive plot leak. Guys, we haven't even gone into Doomsday. How the heck are there plot leaks for Avengers Secret Wars? I barely understand what's going on for Doomsday. That's probably for the better. But, hey, the more Marvel, the happier I am. I'm not gonna lie. I love me some comic book, anything, literally anything to do with comic books. I love. So let's hear what the Wonder Man has to say.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. Today
What's up,
we have
Cosmic?
a massive leak for the future of Marvel Studios. We're talking about Avengers Secret Wars and post Avengers Secret Wars, therefore post the reboot as well. Now, this leak, we haven't heard anything like this before, mostly because we haven't heard much about Avengers Secret Wars. Most of what we've heard has been for Avengers Doomsday. But we know that they're going to start filming Avengers Secret Wars in 2026, which means they have, I'll say, probably most of the story done, since we've been hearing a lot lately about how Marvel goes into project shooting with not an entirely finished script, which sometimes works out for Marvel Studios and sometimes doesn't. Hopefully it's really going to work out for this one. But
Yeah, hopefully.
news finally about Avengers Secret Wars. Like all leaks, take it with a grain of salt. It might not be true, but if this is real, this is a ton of insane information about Secret Wars and post Secret Wars. So let's get into it. This is coming from MaxBlizz.com, who says there's a new leaked Discord report for Avengers Secret Wars.
Him on that throne.
The filming for Secret Wars is set to begin in mid-2026. It is reported that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield will appear, but Doomsday and Kang will not. I'm assuming they just meant to say, but Kang will not appear in Doomsday or Secret Wars right there. The Maker will be one of the protagonists, acting alongside Reed Richards.
Wait. Kang is not gonna return in Doomsday? I thought he was.
As in the comics. Now, the Maker is a variant of Reed Richards, who is evil. The events of his life went very differently in his world. He did not marry Sue, and he basically becomes evil. Now, he is one of the main players in Avengers Secret Wars. He does have his own life raft, which is how him and the Cabal, some other villains, survive. And then our other Reed Richards from Six.
This would be so goated if they use Chris Evans, his Firestorm, the Fantastic Four, Reed Richards from his family, from his team. Oh my gosh, why did it take forever for me to say that? But if they use that Reed Richard from that Fantastic Four, and he is the Maker, that would, oh my gosh, that would feed families for generations. Because we want to see him return. We really do want to see him return. He was a perfect Reed Richard. The movie might have been terrible, but he was on the dot for the casting. So I hope they choose him.
616.
If you can't quit the P word.
His life raft has the good guys: Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Star-Lord, and himself, obviously. Unfortunately, his children and his wife and the rest of the Fantastic Four, the life raft kind of breaks and they get lost and they are gone. And then when he finally gets to Battleworld, he finds out that Doom is married to Sue and they have kids, Franklin and Valeria. So that's quite a shock for him. So if this is real, they're following that same kind of storyline with the Maker. But here's something new that we've kind of heard about before, but it says, meanwhile, Bob will spend years being tortured to release energy for Battleworld, just like in the comics. That doesn't necessarily happen with Bob in the comics, but we have seen something very interesting. Leaked concept art for Avengers Secret Wars that did show somebody.
Damn, that's
who
a century.
initially a lot of us thought might have been the Human Torch. They are clearly chained and looks like they are being tortured, but now it looks like it might be Bob, aka Sentry, which would make sense considering the massive power that he has. So him kind of powering Battleworld kind of makes sense. Now, what they do in the comics is actually kind of messed up. They actually take Johnny Storm, who is...
And they turn him into a son, yeah.
Sue Storm, and they make him the son for Battle World. Because remember, Doctor Doom creates the world, but it needs to be powered. So at one point in time, Johnny betrays Sue and Doom, and Sue's the one who's talking to Doom, and they're telling the story about how Doom actually let Sue choose the punishment for Johnny, so therefore they both decided to make him the son of Battleworld. Kind of messed up, kind of a horrible fate to, one, give your brother, but two, just for anybody to ever have. So I think that's what they're kind of going for here. So instead of like Sentry becoming the son, he's just going to be a power source for Battleworld, which makes sense because they have a power source in the comics. Now here's something very interesting who we haven't really heard much about this. It states Anchor Beans will replace Molecule Man, and Wanda will be a central protagonist. Now, we've heard a little bit about Anchor Beans in Deadpool and Wolverine, but besides that, a lot of people have really been wondering, well, how exactly are they going to come into play for Doomsday?
Well, I think that majority... I'm assuming if you like comic books and if you like Infinity War, Endgame, I'm assuming you've watched Deadpool and Wolverine. So you know what Anchor beings are. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm glad that they changed it to Anchor Beans instead of the Molecule Man, because everyone would be like, who is the Molecule Man? If you're not like a comic book nerd, you're not gonna really know who the Molecule Man, Owen Reese, is. So I like that they changed it to that. But yeah, I don't really have anything else. I don't know why I said but.
In Secret Wars. And who is the Anchor Being of our universe? A lot of us
I thought it was RDJ.
Spider-Man, or it could have been Tony Stark, but who are the Anchor Beings of
I'm sure it's Spider-Man. It better be Spider-Man.
We've also heard that Doctor Doom, we've heard two different reports, not sure which one is true, if any are true, that Doctor Doom's going to be, one, hunting down people who caused incursions, which I do believe is true, but two, also hunting down Anchor Beings. Now, why would he hunt them down? We're not sure. Maybe he's actually recruiting them to be a part of his plan. And this report tells us they're going to replace Molecule Man. Well, in the comics, Doom is hunting Molecule Man and killing them in every universe, because in the comics, they're actually bombs created by the Beyonders, and they're going to eventually be set off. So maybe that's the case for Anchor Beings in some way, shape, or form. We know that if Anchor Beings are gone, the universes that they come from, they're essentially going to be destroyed. So who knows what he's planning to do with them, but that could also be true.
I love that scene. I love that scene. It does make
a lot of sense that they would replace Molecule Man, because we're not going to have them, at least we don't think we are, in this film. There's a lot of characters from the comics that it would probably take a decent while for them to introduce in the middle of the story, and with so many characters already being in it, Marvel might want to stay away from introducing some new characters that are fairly complicated, because Molecule Man and Doom have a really big backstory in the comics. They could do it, but I don't necessarily think they're going to. Now it continues and says, of the classic X-Men, only Cyclops and Magneto will appear, and we're talking about Secret Wars here. The main protagonists of Secret Wars will include the life raft occupants, Doom and his allies, among them Wanda, who is likely promised her children, as well as anyone not under mind control. Cyclops will be on the life raft, while Spider-Man will have a role comparable to his part in Infinity War. The life raft occupants will be trapped, passed out, inside the ship, buried beneath the earth. Many special appearances and surprises are also expected. According to reports, the 1984 Secret Wars will not be adapted, and the original multiverse variant war involving Kang has been dropped. With the film now adapting the 2015 Secret Wars, originally the film was planned to be split into two parts, but that is no longer the case. Black Swan will play a very important role, and the story will center on Doom as the key figure, similar to how Thanos was positioned in previous storylines. Now, obviously Doom is going to be the center here, but the life raft thing has me pretty curious. Not sure how accurate this is going to be. Again, that's just... I think the Void is most likely going to kind of take the place of the life raft. Doom creates a universe, and in this universe, they're talking about mind control, and we're talking about memories here. I think when Doom creates this world, whoever is there on the world created, they're not going to remember anything of the past. They're only going to remember this new world where Doom created it, and that's why he's God Emperor Doom. And I do think there will be people in a sort of life raft, but I think that life raft is going to be in the Void. Now, I could be wrong, and this very well could be accurate. where it states that the life raft will be buried in the earth, and that essentially happens in Secret Wars. The life rafts aren't, the people inside of them aren't really released. They don't come out until, I think it's 3 years after they've already been there, since Battleworld has been created. So they come out, they realize everybody else there, they've had their memories wiped, essentially. They only remember that universe, and essentially they go after Doom. That's kind of what happens here, and that's kind of what it's saying here. It says the life raft occupants will be passed out, buried inside the earth. So I'm assuming a handful of years are probably going to go by until they wake up and they realize, what is this new place? It's ruled by God Doom. Nobody remembers anything about the past, which will bring us into what we believe the story is going to at least entail. Our heroes going and try to recruit the heroes who don't remember to eventually go on and take on Doom.
It's the simplest expression.
Come on,
Smallest
YouTube.
thing that changes everything.
So there's a lot of information about Secret Wars. Not sure all of it is going to be accurate, and keep in mind things definitely change, and they are still writing the script for it right now. But we'll wait and see on that. Either way,
Doomsday
some
hasn't
exciting stuff
even
in there. Now this
come
goes
out.
on to say post-Secret Wars. Give us a little bit of information about what's going to happen after. It says the saga's main focus will be cosmic, mutant, and supernatural. Moon Knight will appear in the next saga, but not before.
What?
The Annihilators will appear in the next saga. Midnight Suns will be one of the events of the saga, which sounds really awesome. I really hope that's true.
Yeah.
Nova. I mean, yeah, so to stop and comment on
We've
those
been
real
waiting
quick,
on Nova
Marvel
for
has
so
already
long.
said,
Like, bro.
you know, Nova's been in development. It was put on hold, but based on what we've heard from insiders, we're going to get it. And I think Marvel knows how important that character is. So I don't think it's one of those projects that they were just making, and then we know that Marvel's made projects and decided, yeah, we're not going to make him anymore. I don't think that's going to happen for Nova. I really don't. He's too important of a character. So he's going to appear, which would be the cosmic side. Moon Knight will appear, and he's obviously going to be a part of the Midnight Suns. We've heard Ghost Rider's going to be a part of that as well, and some others. That should be really cool. So that's the cosmic and the supernatural side, and obviously we know we have an X-Men movie coming out, but I wouldn't be surprised if actually we get maybe an Annihilator movie or the Nova Project before the mutants come out.
Okay, guys, I'm reading on ahead as he is talking. I see a bunch of Bob, and I can't be more excited, guys. I love the Sentry. Since he appeared in the Thunderbolts, he's my favorite character. He's my favorite character. I love characters like the Sentry, like Superman, like Thor, like those type of characters. I love them. So the fact that I'm seeing a lot of projects and it's going to include the Sentry in them, oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
But we'll wait and see on that. They continue and say Chris Hemsworth will continue as Old Thor, which that would be absolutely epic. I would love that. And based on what Chris Hemsworth has said recently, doesn't sound like he's going to be done with Thor anytime soon. So I'm on board for this. There will be another Hawkeye, and that doesn't surprise me at all. Jeremy Renner essentially being recast as Hawkeye. Marvel Studios has already confirmed they are going to recast characters like Iron Man and Captain America. It would make sense for them to do Black Widow and Hawkeye and even the Hulk. Basically all of the old Avengers, except it looks like here for Thor.
Thor's just going to be playing.
Will be one
Thor
of the central
until
parts
he's
of the
90.
storyline. Like I mentioned, Nova's going to be very important. Bob will be important. Bob will go to space at the end of Secret Wars to seek psychological help and self-knowledge, tired of so much suffering on Earth. I mean, makes sense. Who knows what happens with the Void? That's a part of him. But being tortured in Secret Wars and causing a lot of pain in the Thunderbolts, and who knows what happens in Doomsday, I could see how someone might want to seek psychological help and get off of the planet that has been torturing them. Although, technically, Battleworld won't really be his Earth, but I digress. Bob will be involved in the cosmic plot of the saga. If he goes into space, that makes a lot of sense, and he's going to be very powerful. Bob will obviously appear on Earth in some projects because he is involved in the cosmic plot, okay? Talks of introducing Khazar. Hank and Janet will be Ant-Man and Wasp instead of Scott. And Hope, Cassie, will be recast. So when it says here Hank and Janet will be Ant-Man, I'm thinking they're going to be recast as well. I don't think Michael Douglas and them are going to come back for that. They're probably going to want to recast those for younger actors so they can have them on for a while. That would just make the most sense. Also, I guess you can still have Cassie with Hank and Janet, but it would be weird to not have Scott and Hope. It does make sense because Evangelina Lilly did say she's done acting, so she might not even return as Hope / the Wasp in Doomsday and or Secret Wars. So we'll have to wait and see. But this also ends with stating pre-Secret Wars, Elektra in Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Hawkeye Season 2 series / special should come in the saga ending the legacy of Hawkeye, with Kate Bishop taking the mantle. There were talks of introducing her brother, who was also an archer. Wanda appears in Vision Quest as a flashback and as a hologram made by Vision. That last part there, I really hope that happens. I kind of think it needs to happen, especially if they do want to bring Wanda back for Secret Wars and Doomsday, which it sounds like we've been hearing kind of more rumblings lately, especially in this report right here, that, yeah, Marvel's thinking about bringing Wanda back. And they absolutely should. She's one of the most popular characters. Yeah. She's one of the most loved characters by the fandom. Hawkeye, not sure about that. I think it's gone kind of back and forth with Jeremy Renner and the whole pay deal, you know. So we'll see on that. And Elektra in Born Again Season 2, we have heard some rumors that Elektra was going to be recast from the original Daredevil series and that there could be a new Elektra in the series. So I think that might actually end up happening. So like I mentioned, just a ton of news today. It's cool to hear some stuff about Secret Wars. Again, take it with...
Guys... Okay, I'm very excited for Doomsday, but Secret Wars, oh my gosh, when they get on Battle World and they start going hands for hands, like, you know, all them superheroes and villains right on the... Oh, guys, I'm getting too hyped, and this movie's not going to come out for another, 3-4 years or so, whenever it comes out. So I need to chill, take a chill pill, get ready for Doomsday, you know... Spider-Man, Brand New Day. Yeah, so thank you for watching, guys. I love you. God loves you. Subscribe if you want.